The example I know of, the gentleman's bought 2 cars in the last 7 years. He lives here in the state of Kansas. He lives in Rose Hill. And this is just an example. I'm not using this, and they're all over the city like this. And tags are out-of-state tags. And I think we're missing out on the revenue. And I actually, I don't consider it's fraud. It's tax evasion in my areas, and this, might not be high enough on the list to get people's attention. But I know I thought there used to be a task force to go after people like that, and then once the budget dropped, that was put low on the budget, and I'm wondering why it can't be put back higher up on the list for the budget, because I think it would be a self-funding position.
Well, I can tell you that it's been 8 years since we had a tag enforcement unit. The tag unit was a sheriff's office function, and the sheriff's office cut that function because, we had to cut somewhere.
Yeah. I think it was an unwise decision myself, but just
based on what you hear from your deputies, I just was curious about that question that I think he has. It's like, do you guys have any sense of how big an issue this is?
I don't. I don't know that we have any way to even track something like that. You're asking me how big something is that we don't know about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If somebody calls in a complaint, then we'll have a patrol deputy go out to whatever residence that is, and they'll leave a letter like this. The vehicle owner, that it's been brought to our attention that a vehicle may be tagged out of state, and explains what the law is. And then with that, we would hope to gain compliance.
And so I guess what bothers me is here I live in the state, proud to live here, absolutely no problem paying $10,000, $12,000 for sales tax and personal property tax. And the guy gets a letter, someone gets a letter who's been in the state for 7, 8 years, has tags, and all he has to do is pay up at the time. No consequences for his past actions for the last.
Well, if the vehicle is parked at the house, we can't write a citation just because it's got an out-of-state tag on it. They have to actually be driving, and then once. But if if they've got an Oklahoma driver's license, so Oklahoma tags, and they claim to still live at that address, our deputies on the street would have no way of knowing that they actually live here.
Okay, so if someone lies to the deputy about being from Oklahoma and on their driver's license, is there perjury or anything involved with someone?
People lie to us all the time.
Yeah.
That may surprise you, but people lie to law enforcement all the time.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but it's the world we live in.
And if the consequences are he just pays the sales tax at this date and stuff, rather than cause myself misery for a little bit of just the small amount of gain, I almost think that I'm better off not to say anything and keep my peace with my neighbor. You see what I mean? If I thought there could be a prosecution for him defrauding, I'd be more apt to see this through. But at this point, I'm kind of like, I'll just stay back because I've got to keep peace in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it would take a lot of resources to investigate one of these down to a T. To be able to prove that a vehicle has been in this state for 90 days, and to prove that it's here for that time and not in another state, and not going back and forth or something of that nature. So,
interesting to me is that, like, in a way, you're getting put into the position of the reporter, right? So, like, in a way, like, we have this question your editors assigned you, and now we've contacted a person and they've given us some answers. So, like, how are you feeling now? Like, what is it? I just feel it's
just completely unfair that I bought 2 cars, and I'm paying personal property tax, I'm paying sales tax, and it's more than I paid in federal income tax last year. And
I see what you're saying, and I can understand.
And that's the reason I brought these documents. But I think getting it out to the public, maybe the public can force a solution amongst the legislators, district attorney, with your article, they'll see that there are people out here that start paying attention to tags and knowing there's a way to at least do something like this to bring it to the attention of the people who are not wanting to tag their cars.
Well, hopefully this
And
article.
then money will come running into the state, and then they won't have to steal from the highway department.